Hello, it's Lucas here, and I've got another modification showcase for you. Today, I have two sets for my new favorite LEGO City Space Sub theme. I'm going to show you all the modifications that I made to mine to make them, well, better, I guess. Starting off with, I guess, the biggest one, and that is right here, this extra bit, which is a little attachment area for pods, which pods are the new thing for this theme. They attach to any set. This isn't even from this set. This is from a completely different set, which is behind me, and it's from the space station. And I decided, I was going to add this one because this one's like a little bedroom. So, it would attach up here. And, I mean, if we want to get some closer looks, you can just see there's pieces here which hold it up. And I can try to remove it. There it is. It's just a huge chunk of just white and gray, and then some of that sweet reddish orange. And then I just put one of these on the back because there is a third space, but I didn't have enough pods to justify putting a third one on the back. Of course, I have the entire wave, so I have enough to fill this up. I just don't have enough to justify filling it up, because if I did, then I would have a lot less in other places. I gotta make sure. That's fine. This is, of course, the top tower of it. I mean, if you want to see any of this in real detail, you'd have to watch actual review of this, which I do not have one of those. But there are people like Jing Bricks, or Jing's Lego Review, I guess now. He does reviews, and he has one of this. So if you really want to see someone review it, then this is just the modifications I made. And you can also see other places where there's like up here it's raised up and stuff. Those are all just to really get it so that it doesn't sag or anything, because a huge problem I had originally was that it just kind of drooped down a lot. But now it's nice and strong, it doesn't fall over. Another very small one that I made is right here on the door. I actually added these pieces, and then I added some panel pieces into here, which you can't see, but they're in there. I can't really show you because these legs get in the way. But these just make sure that when it slides in, it fits snugly and it doesn't move too much. Because before, it moved a lot because, well, it didn't fit perfectly into the gap, so it moved a lot, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, I just added these pieces to get it to fit in a little bit, a tiny bit more. And then I guess the next thing is the pod deployment thing for the speeder. This is pretty much the same, only I extended this and added these, because this is the speeder bike, or the hover bike, I guess, that comes with here. Or goes right here, and this is basically just a mix of the one from this set and then the one from the polybag, which I never had the polybag, but I just pieced it together because I don't know where you buy that polybag. I've never been able to find it. I never found it on lego.com either, so I don't know where it, I don't know where it is, basically, but here it is. It's a really nice little thing. So, it's a nice little model. And then this is just the same thing as over here, like I said, just with those extra pieces, because otherwise it just kind of felt empty, I guess. It felt very small, and it didn't really hold the bike all too well, so we'll put that back on there without it all falling apart. There we go. And then I guess the next modification I made is right over here. You can see this little pod here doesn't actually have the orange connecting bits that everything else, or all the other pods have. That's because this is just, well, it's stuck into the wall, as you can see by me breaking it. And that just means that it's stronger and also pretty annoying, but that's whatever. And it's also modified in the way that it is completely hollow, like I showed with this is not going very well, but like I showed in this other pod, it's it's got stuff in it. It's not very easy to go through, and with the ones that do have holes through it, which are not the ones from the space station, they themselves have like open holes on the ends, but it's still not very easy for your minifigures to walk through. So mine is basically just empty, and it's just a hole that goes straight through. So I like to classify it as a hallway segment, rather than calling it a space pod. Rather than calling it a space pod. And the lines actually match up perfectly, which the normal pods do not, because they're at different levels for some reason. But yeah, there it is. It's just a simple hallway segment, as I call it, and you can kind of see in there. And now, for the newest edition, which came out just today, or as long as I'm posting this on April 1st, I also have to fix this, because I stole some pieces from here, but I need to put some pieces there, because I had a plan for putting pieces there, but they're not there, so. Anyway, that doesn't matter. This one has a much better door, so I didn't have to change that. The only change I've made so far is, of course, attaching this and turning this side over here into a hatch, which used to be on this side, because this side would be the side that attached to a pod, which would attach to this one's docking or, airlock, and then, they would attach together. Or, in other words, this part, it would attach. That was what used to be there, but now it's not. And so, yeah, I just changed that. And then I guess, I forgot one other small thing is right here I added an extra set of clips, just because this connection's really loose. I should probably do it to this one too, because you can see I don't even have to put any force to remove it, but, And if you haven't seen this one either, it's a really nice looking set. It's close to being my favorite of the entire wave, honestly. Aside from this one, which is my personal favorite, just because it's such a well-made model. But yeah, you get the little alien guy who's got a different helmet, just because I needed the other one. But he's fine. He's just chilling in there. But I wanted to do a little special thing for anyone who actually lasted this long listening to me fumble with my words, because I haven't made a video in probably a few months now. Oof. And this awful squeaking. Ugh. Alright. Let's try to put this back together. You can't see the top of it, but I still want to build it. It is a bit of a pain to move around because of the fact that they're locked together, so you can't grab it just one thing, because that will start to break, and then you have to have them both. And even if you're just holding on to this, well, as I found while I was bringing this here, this will eventually snap, even if you're holding up this section right here. So you have to have hands on both of them, which is, arguably why they probably did the pod thing, just because it's so much easier, and they're two separate sets, and they won't connect in two separate sets. But there's one other thing I want to do, and that is look at my lunar base next to it, because they actually are pretty similar. A little bit more similar than you would think. Specifically these two. As you can see, these have the same roof, which is really cool. They've got these huge panels, and as you can see, these are the panels. This one, it's going to be a lot harder to, there we go. There we go. And so, I can swap them around if I wanted to, but I don't really want to. But, yeah, they've got their own, or they've got the same panel pieces, and I modified this set quite a bit, because I like to modify my stuff, if you haven't noticed. My favorite thing to do is, when I first get a Lego set, is to actually modify it. And I added an airlock. I added a moving door here, and then I added the suggestion of an airlock here too. And the way I modified this is actually so that that was not very good, and I'm just breaking this all now. The way that this works is, the way that I modified it actually allows it to connect up to these pods and entrances, I guess, because originally it was just one plate too short, so I just added an extra plate, and now, boom, it works. So, I guess it's not much of a comparison between the two, but, I guess I can just say it's a comparison and then not compare them, or whatever, I guess. But yeah, regardless, I haven't made a video in a long time, and it really shows, because I don't know what the heck I'm talking about right now. But this is by far probably my biggest project ever. I mean, it didn't take all too long necessarily, but it's combining 2 different sets, and it's also got so many more pieces than like the only other thing I can say is like a big modification is actually not really a big modification. It's just a modification to a big set, and that's just I replaced a few pieces on my one of my modular set to make it like stronger, but that's not really too big. This, on the other hand, it's got a lot of extra pieces, and if you want to count this as extra pieces and this as extra pieces, it's got a lot extra. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I definitely would recommend picking up both these sets and at least attaching them together. I don't recommend this just because it's really a pain, but it doesn't matter. And I'll actually throw in a bonus modification. Well, it's not really a modification, but this thing right here. This is a 4-way pod connector for your space train. This goes with the space station set, and in the space station set, it kind of has a feature where you can, make a space train. So this just helps with having pods in all 4 directions, and I actually made this because of removing the stuff from there. So, yeah. I definitely would recommend these 2 sets. I don't know how many of these modifications I'd actually recommend, but I hope you enjoyed the video at least, at the least. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, and goodbye.